Well, obviously, after the exciting, intense, challenging first temple of this adventure part of Amphibia, we logically have our break in between them. How's everyone doing today, guys? My name is Steve Goes, and this is Amphibia. This is episode 35A, New Wartwood, which, just by the title alone, had me kind of confused. I'm like, wait, is there like a town called New Wartwood that's being made, or what? So, before we get into this, I actually have the so I want to start off by saying I have officially watched all the episodes up to this point, obviously except for the season 1-2 finale, which is airing this Saturday. But I've watched all the episodes up to this point, so I'm all caught up. I am a few, so I will try not to let these episodes get too much flack for, I mean, not flack, or kind of like foreshadowing or talk about what's gonna happen after these. But the one thing you know what, I'm just gonna talk about it when we get to the episode I want to discuss it at. So this is New Wartwood, which is, yeah, again, it sounded a little, it is a weird title, but once you get into the episode, you kind of get the understanding of why they might have called it that, although I feel like they should have called it something else. But I mean, alright, so here we go. So it all begins when obviously we're picking up kind of where the last episode left off, asking Marcy asked the family if they wanted to take like a break, so that way they can just check everything out. So that's exactly what they do. They go back to Wartwood, and so it's Marcy's first time in Wartwood. And since we kind of know the town motto, they aren't exactly accepting her just yet. So I mean, even it's another human. It's the third human they've seen. They grew on Anne, but obviously Sasha kind of rubbed them the bat, kind of didn't work well. So Marcy is kind of like the middle ground right now, and obviously she'll want to try to do everything she can to get everyone to like her. And it's very interesting how Marcy's, I mean, obviously she's very hyper with it. She's so excited to try and get to meet everyone, get to know everyone. And again, yeah, much like Anne, they're kind of closed off on her. They don't want to talk to her. There's even these 3 tadpoles that are kind of confused with her. Like, everything, I mean, granted, half of the things she is talking about is very intellectual, so it's kind of hard to kind of get a grip on her. Although she even mentions how the town is on water, like, and guess it's on a lily pad or something, I don't know. And she said that the people who built the town knew the certain amount of weight needed to cause the whole thing to sink, so they obviously built the whole town below the weight, so that way they couldn't sink. It's fun. It actually is a cool idea. That actually is an interesting fact about the town, because I mean, you think about towns in different TV shows, like the Owl House. The Boiling Isles is literally the bodies of a giant. Gravity Falls, Gravity Falls, if you've seen the show, you know how the town of Gravity Falls is made, or was made, I should say. And this, I mean, Amphibia in general is a giant lily pad. It just is in the shape of a giant lily pad, but the idea of Wartwood kind of being this above water town that's only being held up because they don't exceed the weight limit, basically, is pretty interesting. Not as cool as a giant body, but still pretty interesting. But Marcy obviously tries everything she can to get people to like her, and it even leads to her showing off her more her crafty side, because she's able to fix. She accidentally knocks over the statue of the town founder that I even love. They're like, she knocked over the statue of the town founder, and I don't even know the guy's name. So like, no, I like the idea of like there's a town founder, but no one has an idea who the person's name is, which is funny. But Marcy fixes the statue in a snap. She then shows off that she can fix pretty much every part of the town, and which is kind of cool, because she's able to show that she has her ways. I mean, she even mentions that that's kind of how she got people in Utopia to respect her and like her, because yeah, she was able, like, I mean, she was able to fix a bridge in Utopia, and they built a statue in her honor for it. so she has her ways, but the thing is, she kind of treats it like an equation, she's like, this plus this equals this, and in her case, it's like, if I continue to build more of this, if I continue to build and renovate the town and help these people, then that will equal them liking me, and Anne's like, that's not how it's gonna work for these people, you gotta gain the respect, it takes time, they have to accept you, and then they respect you, and all that, and so... But again, Marcy doesn't see it like that, and even Toadstool tries to take advantage of her, as freaking usual with Toadstool, I think, at this point. He tries, he asks her to basically renovate the entire town, which, this is where the new Wartwood comes in, because Marcy and Toadstool, they basically build new buildings. I say that in air quotes because it's complete bull what they actually do. The thing is, and they hold this... Yeah, so they basically redo the entire town. They hold this giant celebration, and Marcy is thinking that, and I actually kind of like the suit that she has. Kind of reminds me of Hugh Jackman's in Greatest Showman. She's got the red suit with the top hat, and just like the cane, just like, hey, it's so cool and so funny, and yeah. But of course, Anne is trying to convince her that this is not the way, and Marcy is she isn't too, she's so focused on trying to get everyone to like her that she isn't realizing what's happening, and thus, the fact is, she actually, this kind of goes back to what she was talking about with the town, and the weight limit is, all the new renovations she's been adding actually now causing the town to sink. It's like, so it's kind of like, I'm like, are we gonna go the Atlantis route with this now? But so as the town is sinking, Marcy pretty much realizes her mistakes, and kind of like Anne with Anne of the Year back in season 1, where, remember she threw the Gatsby like party and it went to heck, and she saved everyone. That's basically what happens here with Marcy. She uses her... Completely forgot to mention it, her new pet sparrow, who she called Joe Sparrow. I understand why they didn't call it Jack, but I mean Joe Sparrow, it's like, that's pretty close, and I kind of do like the idea that Marcy has this giant bird she can just use at will, because especially in this episode, she uses Joe Sparrow to fly around and rescue everyone and get all the heavy things out of town, so that way it can come back up and save everyone. And of course, Marcy, after all that, apologizes to the town, and it's like, she says she messed up, that she was so in the zone of trying to get people to like her that she completely forgot about the facts of them and all that, and the town, or Mrs. Croker, speaking for the town, realize she's been doing that a lot, yeah. Actually, would come to think of it, every time, like, it's the town that has to deal with the situation, it's usually Mrs. Croker that is the speaker. So, she basically is listing off, she's very, it's like, and of course, kind of what I was expecting, they were like, that's, like, you're incompetent, you're crazy, you're constantly getting us into crazy stuff, and you're pretty much like Anne when she first arrived here. And Marcy, of course, is like, wait, what? And Anne's like, oh yeah, I actually set fire to the town one time. And it's like, yeah, she kind of did. But I like Mrs. Croker then, like, giving Marcy a piece of advice, like saying, hey, this isn't something you can rush, it just takes time, and we forgive you, and don't worry about it. In time, they're like we eventually came to love and respect Anne, so we'll probably do the same with you, but it's gonna take time. And Marcy obviously takes that into consideration, and she's happy with that. She's fine with that, and of course that kind of is again with the I forget what was it the last episode that I talked about this, or no it wasn't the last episode. No, it actually technically, yeah, it kind of was actually with the lesson about, learning to gain someone's trust again. This one, it's more of just learning to gain someone's respect and acceptance. Again, that also takes time. I mean, some people you meet, the two of you can like have this like feeling like, oh yeah, I think we're gonna be friends. Like, but other times it definitely doesn't work like that. It definitely takes time to get used to a person, and eventually you do see what they have. You do see some things about them that you appreciate and you respect, and you're like, yeah, this is a person that I like to be friends with. I mean, because it's just background sometimes, because like a kid from outside Chicago going to the middle of Nebraska might not exactly have an easy fitting in, I should say, with people, or maybe even like going to different countries. Like, I imagine if I went somewhere in Europe, I definitely wouldn't be able to fit in right away, because I don't to start, I don't speak any other language. I just know English. So if I went to Germany and and I was talking with people who only spoke German, I wouldn't be able to communicate well with them, and they wouldn't exactly work. And of course, that's kind of partially on me, because I'm the one who came to their country to try and explore, I guess. So obviously there's a lot of different factors that come into making connections with people, and obviously some of them are quick and easy, others are long and intuitive. Yeah, I think that's the right idea. So yeah, but overall, I thought this was a fun episode, because again, it's something you do want to see. It's like Marcy interacting with the people of Wartwood. How would that go? And pretty much what we'd expect, because we know the town really well, and we know Marcy really well at this point. So seeing the two interact with one another makes sense. It makes sense why they're both acting the way they are, and thus we're intrigued to see how it's gonna work out. And in this case, Marcy tries to do it her way, and it doesn't work, and so she has to learn to kind of do it with the town's way. The town's way, which is basically taking time to slow to accept. Is it slow to respect, slower to accept? Yeah, that's the town motto. So yeah, but yeah, so that was episode 35 of Amphibia, New Wartwood. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you want to subscribe, you don't have to. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next one.